What if I told you that Jeff Hardy's biggest opponent wasn't in the ring, but in his own mind? His battle with addiction led to multiple suspensions, arrests, and even an infamous incident where he performed under the influence during a live pay-per-view event. This is the story of how the charismatic enigma nearly lost it all. Picture this. A 16-year-old kid steps into a WWE ring for the first time. That kid was Jeff Hardy, along with his brother Matt. He formed the Hardy Boys, a tag team that would redefine high-flying action. Their matches against teams like the Dudley Boys and Edge and Christian became instant classics, pushing the boundaries of what was possible in the squared circle. But here's the thing. Even as Jeff soared to new heights, something darker was brewing beneath the surface. You see, the same fearless attitude that made him a star in the ring was leading him down a dangerous path outside of it. As his popularity grew, so did the pressure. And Jeff's way of coping? Well, that's where our story takes a turn. One that would shake the wrestling world to its core. In 2003, Jeff Hardy's world came crashing down. WWE, the company that made him a star, released him after he failed a drug test and refused to enter rehab. It was a wake-up call, but one that Jeff wasn't ready to hear. He later admitted he was in denial about his problems at the time, a decision he'd come to regret. This moment marked the beginning of Jeff's descent into darkness. The grueling wrestling schedule and mounting pressure had taken their toll, pushing him towards substance abuse as a way to cope. But without the structure of WWE, things were about to get much worse. Jeff's journey through various wrestling promotions post-WWE was anything but smooth. In Ring of Honor, he faced outright hostility. Fans who once cheered his every move now booed and chanted against him. It was a stark reminder of how far he'd fallen in such a short time. His stint in TNA wrestling was equally tumultuous. Multiple suspensions for no-shows and poor performances plagued his run. These issues were often linked to his ongoing substance abuse problems. The Jeff Hardy that fans knew and loved seemed to be slipping away, replaced by an unreliable shadow of his former self. But the worst was yet to come. In 2006, police raided Jeff's home and arrested him on 5 major drug charges. They seized a significant amount of drugs, including cocaine and prescription pills. The charges included possession and trafficking of controlled substances. It was a shocking revelation that showed just how deep Jeff's problems had become. Despite these setbacks, Jeff managed to keep his career afloat, even returning to WWE. But his struggles with addiction continued to impact his in-ring performance. Suspensions and wellness policy violations became a recurring theme. Each incident chipped away at his reputation and reliability. The toll of addiction on Jeff's career was becoming impossible to ignore. His high-flying moves, once executed with precision, became sloppy and dangerous. His charisma, which had made him a fan favorite, was dulled by his substance abuse. Matches that should have been spectacular often fell flat, leaving fans and promoters disappointed. All of this was building to a moment that would change everything. The Victory Road incident in 2011 was more than just a career low point for Jeff Hardy. It was a wake-up call that echoed through the entire wrestling industry. Picture this: a main event match at a pay-per-view, fans buzzing with excitement, and then disaster. Jeff stumbled to the ring, clearly intoxicated, barely able to stand. The match lasted just 90 seconds before being called off, leaving fans confused and angry. The aftermath was swift and severe. TNA suspended Jeff indefinitely and mandated a 120-day rehab program. It was a turning point that forced Jeff to confront his demons head-on. For the first time, he couldn't hide behind his in-ring persona or brush off his problems as just part of the rock star lifestyle. But here's the thing about addiction. It's not a battle you win once and forget about. It's a daily struggle, and Jeff's journey back to the top was anything but smooth. After completing rehab, he returned to TNA with renewed focus. For a while, it seemed like he had finally gotten his life back on track. Fans were hopeful, promoters were cautiously optimistic, and Jeff himself was determined to make the most of the second chance. In 2017, Jeff made a triumphant return to WWE alongside his brother Matt. Their win at WrestleMania 33, capturing the Raw Tag Team Championships, felt like a storybook comeback. Fans were ecstatic, and it seemed like the charismatic enigma was back for good. But behind the scenes, the pressure was mounting once again. The grueling WWE schedule, the constant travel, the physical toll of performing night after night, it all began to weigh on Jeff. And unfortunately, old habits started to resurface. There were missed appearances, erratic behavior, and whispers of relapse. WWE, having been down this road before, kept a close eye on the situation. One of the most controversial aspects of Jeff's struggles was how they were incorporated into wrestling storylines. His feud with CM Punk in 2009 is a prime example. Punk, playing a straight-edge character, repeatedly brought up Jeff's real-life substance abuse issues in promos. It was compelling television, but it raised serious ethical questions. Was it right to use someone's personal demons for entertainment? Did it help Jeff by forcing him to confront his issues? Or did it add unnecessary pressure? These questions became even more relevant as Jeff's struggles continued. Each time he seemed to get back on track, another setback would occur. Fans began to wonder if Jeff would ever truly overcome his addiction, or if his legacy would be forever tainted by his personal battles. In December 2021, Jeff's WWE career came to an abrupt and unexpected end. During a live event match, he simply walked out of the arena mid-match. WWE offered him rehab, but Jeff refused. This led to his release from the company, leaving fans shocked and wondering what would come next. Just when it seemed like Jeff's wrestling career might be over for good, All Elite Wrestling, AEW, came calling. In March 2022, Jeff made his AEW debut to thunderous applause. Fans were excited, and many saw this as Jeff's chance at a fresh start. A new company, a lighter schedule, and the chance to work alongside his brother Matt once again. It all seemed perfect. Just 3 months after his debut, on June 13, 2022, Jeff Hardy was arrested for DUI, driving under the influence. This wasn't a minor slip-up or a simple misunderstanding. It was his 4th arrest overall and 3rd DUI offense in a decade. The excitement surrounding his AEW run came to a screeching halt, replaced by a familiar sense of disappointment and concern. The consequences were swift and severe. Jeff faced a 38-day jail sentence, probation, community service, and a suspended license. AEW had no choice but to suspend him indefinitely. Once again, Jeff's demons had caught up with him, derailing what should have been a triumphant comeback. The wrestling community's reaction was a mix of frustration, sadness, and genuine worry for Jeff's well-being. Fans who had cheered his return now questioned if he'd ever truly overcome his addiction. Fellow wrestlers expressed support, but also acknowledged the seriousness of the situation. Jeff's reputation, already on shaky ground, took another significant hit. But the impact of Jeff's struggles goes far beyond his own career. His story forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about the wrestling industry and the nature of fame itself. The physical toll of performing night after night, the pressure to constantly entertain, the easy access to painkillers. It's a perfect storm for addiction. Jeff's battles have affected his family deeply. His brother Matt has been both his greatest supporter and at times an enabler. In interviews, Matt has spoken about the difficulty of watching his brother struggle, torn between wanting to help and recognizing that Jeff needs to want to change for himself. For fans, Jeff's story is a harsh reminder that our wrestling heroes are human, with all the flaws and vulnerabilities that come with it. Many have struggled to reconcile with the high-flying daredevil they admired with the troubled man behind the face paint. It's forced us to question how we consume wrestling entertainment and the responsibility we have as fans. The wrestling industry itself has had to evolve in response to cases like Jeff's. Wellness policies have been strengthened, and there's a growing awareness of the need for mental health support for performers. But questions remain about whether enough is being done to protect wrestlers from the pressures that can lead to substance abuse. Despite the setbacks, Jeff Hardy's story isn't over. Following his arrest in 2022, he entered rehab once again. This time, according to his brother Matt, Jeff seems to be taking his recovery more seriously than ever before. Matt noted, "This is the most work I've ever seen him do on himself." Jeff's jail sentence, while a low point, might have been the wake-up call he needed. He reportedly committed to maintaining his sobriety and rebuilding his life and career. But the road ahead is long and filled with challenges. Can Jeff finally overcome his addiction? Will wrestling promoters and fans give him another chance? And even if he does return to the ring, can he ever fully recapture the magic that made him a star? Jeff Hardy's career is a roller coaster of incredible highs and devastating lows. His high-flying moves and unique charisma made him a legend, but his battles with addiction nearly destroyed it all. The wrestling industry isn't kind to those who struggle, and Jeff's story forces us to ask tough questions. Is fame worth the cost? How much responsibility do wrestlers bear for their actions? And how much falls on the industry that pushes them to the limit? A fellow wrestler speaking anonymously said, "Jeff's resilience is unmatched. He may fall, but he always gets back up." That takes more strength than any move in the ring.